Today's work, we're going to be working on a microphone pin here. It's an 8-pin microphone setup, and I will be incorporating this into the model kit and the model base. So essentially what I'll be doing is I'll be using a 1/4-inch rod. I haven't determined the length yet, but that's what it'll attach to. Now this part right here is threaded, or you can screw tighten it down, which is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to put a little solder in there to help keep it stabilized. And the beauty about this is when you connect this part to the model and this part to the stand, you can detach it, work on your model without the stand being in the way. So the only part that will be sticking out of the model will be this section right here. Now, the way I'm going to wire mine up is you have 8 pins, each one, and I'm going to put the negative wire here in the center, and that's number 8. And at each one of these corresponding pins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so you've got 7 slots to choose from for your hotline feeds or your positives. I'm only going to be using 3. 1 negative and 3 positives. That's all I'm going to be working with today on the one model kit I'm working on. So, also too, it's got a indentation keyed groove here. So when you do join the two together, there's a corresponding notch right up here at 12 o'clock. That's the corresponding pin, and that way you cannot make a mistake when you're rehooking this up. So let's go ahead and open this up. There's a set screw here that needs to come out. It's a Phillips head. Put this out of the way. Now this turns and you'll hear it click. You turn it clockwise and you'll hear it click. And then it pulls right off. These pins here are the ones you're going to need to solder in your lines. Now, the negative line, number 8, is offset, but it is still somewhat in the center. So I'll be hooking my negative up to there. Number 1 is here, 2 is here, and 7 is here. I'll be using 1, 2, and 7 for the hook up there. I will be using a Cat 5 wire to do the hookups for this process here. And then once I get the wires into the model, I'll switch back to the normal wiring that I use, either magnet wire or the red and black wire. Now this Cat 5 wire will fit right into that groove right there. And then at that point you solder it. I usually solder it at about 350 degrees. Usually takes about 2 seconds for it to bind. And then you just wire in the corresponding, each one has a slot. You just slip that in there, solder it up, go to the next, and then on this leg over here they have little holes cut in, so you actually feed the wire into the hole like that, and then you solder it. So one has a groove slot that you slip in, and then one has a hole where you just put it in there and turn it down and then solder it. And this is what it looks like when it's finished. You have the wires going down to the base. I've got the negative and I got 3 positive wires. I got an orange, a green, and a blue. Moving on up to the model itself, I've got the corresponding wires for the power and the negative. And if you need to work on the model, you just back off your set screw here and you detach it, and voila, you work on your model, not have to worry about the stand being in the way. And as I said, this portion right here will be sitting outside the model. And you merely screw it back up, and we'll run a light test on it to make sure it works. Alright, we'll do a quick test of an LED. I have the power hooked up. I get the switch on, and we'll just tap the LED to it. And there you go. And that's only one channel. I got two other hot lines I could use for other things. Now on an enterprise model, you'd want to use as many channels as you could, so I'd use all 7 on the enterprise. For the flying sub, I'm just going to use the 3. See? So that's basically it. I did the soldering off camera. It took me about 5 minutes to wire this all up. And then I got the power hooked up there. So, there you go.
Wow, another great video from Greg's workshop.